gasket's got to sit up there on top of that, or otherwise it's all wavy on the inside. So I just went around a couple, 3 times, just worked it. Lift it up, push the gasket, lift the gasket up and the drum up a little bit. And not so much that I would lift off of the bolts. Okay. And I guess you could use some longer ones if you had them to just drop down there and then take them out and put these in when everything is. But I got it all situated around. And then lastly was putting these blades on. What you'll discover is these blades are not really bent very well. You see that one there, see the big gap, and you can see the threads of the screw. And I had to bend the ends down here. They were really not that well fitting. So what I did is I put the bolt end down there, then bent it because it was way over here. Bent it so it was more lined up with the hole. Okay, and then took the bolt out and then put this one in and got it started, and then put that one in and got it started, and then tightened them both down and just kind of cinched everything into place to do that with both of them. But it's kind of funky trying to figure out how these things go in. You get like the directions say the pointed end goes down. That's a big help knowing that. This is the other side. But when they stamped these out in the machine, they didn't put a curve or a radius on this piece to match the drum. So it's kind of a big gap in there. And let's see, there was one other thing. Oh, when you put your drum together, you want to make sure that this arrow lines up with this arrow. Make sure those arrows line up. All right? And the reason for that is because this hole here for the mixing blade inside has to line up with this bolt down here on the other end of your mixing blade. Okay? So if these arrows are askew, if you're off one or more, then those blades they'll never line up in there. So make sure when you put your two halves together, these two arrows line up, and that way the rest of your installation will go a lot smoother, because the holes will be in the proper orientation, one here and one over there for your mixing blades. Other than that, like I say, it's like $219 at Harbor Freight, and I had a 25% off coupon. And I'm going to pour a pad here for a little garden shed. Had a wooden floor that was all rotted. I moved everything over, and I'm going to pour a pad here. But yeah, the box was in good shape. Always check the box, make sure it isn't all banged up, and but with any of these Chinese products, like I say, with those wheels down there, with the little spindle on the wheel, that little pipe boogered up a little bit. But no major catastrophes. Just leave all your bolts and everything kind of loose till you get everything kind of put together, like in your framework. Then tighten them down. Makes it a lot easier to get things together. And this drum, I put this drum on by myself, and I found that the easiest way was just to hold it here at this piece with my left hand, hold it here with my right hand, and then guide them in. And again, with the bolts loose, because you need to flex them to match up, and it makes it a lot easier if those bolts are loose. You can get them into place, but you want to be careful because there's some sharp edges where they stamp these holes in here. Up above there's some sharp metal, and this drum will spin on you, so you don't want your fingers and stuff. Don't be holding on to the drum. And I found the best thing was just grab it right here, this piece right here with a hole in it. Okay, just grab that with your left hand. on this side, just grab it here with your right hand. You can, I didn't put the top half on till last, so I just had to contend with the bottom part. Put that on, and then I dealt with everything else, tightened everything down, and put this cover on, then the motor plate, then the motor, got it adjusted, and there's a pulley that goes in there. It tells you I put a little grease on the shaft like it said, and got it on, put the V-belt on, adjusted the motor and everything. Then you've got this where the switch is here, there's a little plastic box inside with your wiring connections, and 4 little screws to take the back off, and the motor cord runs into there. And there's a little cord grip that you put on and snap into the box. There's a hole already for it, and you connect your ground green wire to the ground. There's a green wire in there, gets connected to that one, and then the switch has 2 little prongs, and put your white wire where the white wire is and the black wire where the black wire is, and no problem, it runs fine. Piece of cake there. And then put the cover and the little 4 screws back on and put the cover on. Okay, and so it did say to put a little grease on that pulley shaft, so I did. I didn't see anything about putting some oil in these little holes here, but this was fairly hard. It didn't want to. It's smooth now. It was really dry. I put some oil down in those holes, dripped it in there as I was turning it back and forth like that. Dripped some oil in there on both ends. It's real smooth now. Oh, that's it. Harbor Freight. I looked at renting a mixer. They wanted $100 a day to rent a mixer. I have to drive 50 miles down to get it. $100 to rent it. I have to take it back 50 miles, and I said, you know what? This may not be a commercial machine here. It sure beat bag mixing. 40 to 60 bags of concrete. I didn't want to get a cold joint because I was getting tired mixing it. So I figured this here ought to do the job.